Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Today I have a new guest. He's a journalist, he's an entrepreneur, and he's also a frequent YouTube guest to many channels. He's gracing our channel for the first time. His name is Prasad Peketi. Prasad Garu, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you?
Namaskaram Andi, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. I am doing good. Just a small addition, Ji. I'm basically a techie guy. So, and other things are like my passion.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. So, viewers, today we are going to talk about the recent spate of layoffs that is happening in India. Is this a reflection of the impending recession that everybody is predicting in the United States? Could be for various reasons like AI, for example, or even the fact that people are still right-sizing after the hiring that took place during COVID time. So these are all things that people accept that there has to be some trimming needed. So let's take a look at his perspective. Prasad Garu is right here in Cyberabad, in Hyderabad. He understands the ground realities much more than I do. And I wanted to have his input on what he sees happening. And we're also going to take a look at some other things that could be happening. Prasad Garu, I'll start off with this question. These layoffs, is it the relentless pursuit of profits for public limited companies because they are reporting numbers on a quarterly basis? Or is it an adjustment because they are not seeing the visibility 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road? Over to you, sir.
Sir, first we need to look at it. Is it only specific to India? But when I look at it from a data perspective, in last 2 years, across the globe, okay, so there are total in 2024 itself, close to 1150 layoffs by different companies have done, and an average per day 653 employees were laid off. And similarly, in 2025, 432 layoffs have happened, which has impacted close to 1,20,000 employees, amounting to per day 580, 570 kind of employees. But now the key factors, if we look at it, so just to stay ahead of the competition and to grab the market, as you have correctly pointed out, during the pandemic, over hiring has happened. And now we have to do the cost optimization. And also now we are seeing the AI driven efficiencies. Okay, so these are the at a global level things that are happening. And even India is not an exception here. So in India, actually, if I look at it for financial year 24, they have reduced the headcount. So that means every year the companies used to hire freshers in thousands. The hiring has reduced, and the TCS close to about 13,000 employees. They have reduced the headcount. Infosys 25,000, Wipro 25,000, and like that, other companies also followed the suit. And now when we look at it, gradually the news that has come up, right? So that has come like, okay, it's kind of a big thing. But if we look at it, close to TCS strength is about 6.5 lakhs, and in that probably around 12,000 they're telling. But this is the problem now. When we put it in the numbers, quarter on quarter guidance that which we give, suddenly some panic gets generated. So, but that is a problem here that is happening in their guidance which they are giving. And all the companies, I don't know, because some of the companies have taken the route, okay, we'll only provide yearly projection, what we are doing. And now the reasons which we look at it, right? So there is an uncertainty in macroeconomic environment, particularly in US after the tariffs and discretion spending has reduced, 𝗤𝗏, or it can be anything. And now the shift to AI has happened. A lot of automation is happening, and we are heading into a situation where coding may reduce redundant. That means we will not be able to do much of a programming, especially Asians and that too Indians are more known to be a techie guys who are very good in programming. But now the automation of the code and the code generation that is happening, that in turn is causing the cost optimization that is reflecting here, wherein the pressure is increasing to show that okay, what is the average revenue that is getting generated per an employee, and that is where it is showing up, and it is bound to happen. So IT industry as such is the youngest, but now it is evolving, and this is something we all can see that is going to happen, sir, here.
Thank you so much. See, the cuts, especially in TCS, are happening at the middle to higher upper level management. Average age, I'm just guessing a number here, I could be off by a few years. Average age would be 45 to 55, and in that period where there's a comfortable lifestyle, and perhaps the kids are getting ready to go to college, so there is a lot of EMI payments to be made, and then the legs get cut off. And at that age, getting rehired could also be a challenge, because you're used to managing, you're not coding anymore, and you also have somebody, even if you're a coder, you have AI challenging you. So in these kinds of situations, what do you see people do, especially in IT hubs like Hyderabad and Bengaluru? What are the recourses they have?
Sree, here we need to look at it one thing, and even as per my understanding, the people who are getting laid off, those who got into that comfort zone, and those who are even if you are in the industry for 15 years or 20 years, if you are not really able to make out in which direction it is going, I think that is something to introspect. Okay, so first and foremost thing, there is a saying that in English that says, learning starts from the time when the baby is in mother womb, and it will end when the body goes to the tomb, right? So we cannot be in that state of telling, okay, I learned enough. So it cannot be like that. So we need to be constantly seeking the knowledge and see how that knowledge we can apply to our regular jobs and show the productivity. And that is where I think that is a challenge that is coming up. And the next thing is basically all these organizations are private organizations. They're not like a secured government job where even if you work or if you don't work, you get salaries paid, right? So I think that is where that kind of insecurity, job insecurity will always be there. It's not specific to IT, even other private organizations as well. I remember in early 90s, private employees used to slog a lot, and they always used to seek for a government job, and private employees used to pay salaries very less. And now I think we are going to get into that kind of a stage again, where probably we may have to go back and look at it, okay, our basics, and see proper financial management and having other source of income or investment which will cushion us in this kind of a challenging period, sir.
Prasad Garu, so we, according to you, it is probably more correction and perhaps a not too bright outlook for the next foreseeable few quarters. Now, the challenge here for many of these IT companies, they're all public, Infosys, Tata's, and I think Tata also has gone public, if I remember correctly now, right?
Yes.
They're also public. They're also public, right? Because for the longest time they did not, and that gave them actually a cushion, if you ask me. They went under this quarter by quarter heat. So what some public companies in the United States have done, and this is a bold step on their part, Alphabet, which is the Google holding company, Alphabet said many years ago, I think 15, 20 years ago, we are not going to report quarterly earnings. And the market did not object. So they see, if you are confident of where you are, of your capabilities, India can also do that. At least they can get that monkey off of their backs. I mean, do you know if Infosys is really the one that I see, trying to take the first mover thing in many of these situations? Do you see any public companies trying to make this decision? Okay, I'm not going to report quarterly profits, quarterly numbers. I'm just going to report annual, and that is available, by way of filings, and just go. We are going to just keep continuing what we are doing. Anyone you think that might be thinking along these lines?
Yeah. So typically, I think for close to 2 decades, all Indian IT companies, they are providing this quarterly guidance, and this typically covers revenue growth, operating margin, and hiring plans. So now the challenge is by giving this, sometimes giving more information, but these companies are very well known for the corporate governance as well, and some kind of a unnecessary fear or those things is getting generated. So because sometimes more than a positive news, negative news sells more, and that grabs all the
Absolutely.
headlines.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm seeing, especially on this organizations taking that, but still I think they're following that. I think someone has to take that bold stand like Alphabet that has done, and tell that, okay guys, this is what we are going to do, and probably that could set the precedence. And the next thing, what we need to look at it, right? So all these companies are not running in losses, by the way, and TCS is sitting on a cash of, as per their financial report of last year's FY 24-25, they're sitting on a cash of 44,000 crores. Infosys 25,000 crores, Wipro 13,000 crores, HCL Tech 20,000 crores. Cognizant, even though I don't think it is listed in India, it is sitting on a cash of about 20,000 crores. Okay, so this is what that is happening, and that by sitting on this cash reserves, what exactly these organizations are doing. So that is where I believe. So this kind of a Kodak moment, right? So where they are not able to really grab that is happening, instead of sitting on a huge cash pile and not getting into the AI space, I think that is kind of a causing this distress. There is a saying like, okay, a ship is safest in harbor, but that is not what the ships are built for. And we need to look at it. Okay, it's not just giving the dividends or putting the cash in the fixed deposits, especially for when you're running a business. So we need to anticipate what is there in the future and invest accordingly. And that is where I feel that, okay, Indian IT companies have missed the trick there.
Thank you so much. And viewers, you have seen our AI videos. I'm just trying to, give you an idea of how well developed AI is. AI is developed, sort of. But what we have found out, it costs us a lot more time to do this AI generated content than if we would, than if we would do it manually. But then there is a certain glitch. We can't go back 3,000 years and capture the era of Mahabharata for you using enacting. That's not possible. So that's where AI comes in handy. So for people who are saying, okay, I'm going to focus on understanding AI and things of that nature, one challenge that everybody will face is, very quickly, these things are not free. It doesn't matter if you want to do something simple. It takes a lot of money. You have to put down money to get this thing. So I'm curious what's going to be the way people are going to reinvent themselves. And I want to, before we go to the next question, I want to also add one other interesting data point. Amazon, from the time of its going public till now, has rarely posted profits. Rarely. I think once in a while you'll see one quarter they'll post profits. They're going loss after loss after loss after loss. And yet people repose faith in their stock. It's right up there with the other Mag 6, Magnificent 6, other Mag 7 stocks. So, it's something beyond, like how you're projecting yourself as a company. In this matter, image, this is what I'm coming to. If you look at the image of an IT company, you know this thing, and be brave and tell me who you think draws the more eyeball attention and who is very, very staid. And I have something to say about Tata, but let's first do this. Image as a company that, somebody joins college and wants to go to, wants to do computer science or AI or data, something like that. Which company do you think they would want to first apply for?
So the way we can look at it, right? So obviously they will prefer the companies that are doing a lot of innovation. Right, so any company.
These are all body shops, though.
Yeah, so that is what I'm
Sorry.
telling. Like, So by doing a lot of cost optimization and all those things, so as a fresher, if I want to go, I look for the companies which do a lot of innovation than to go into some company which is doing renovation, right?
Yes, yes,
So that is what we look at it, and that is where I think Indian IT companies, especially on the innovation. So innovation comes with a risk by nature. By nature, Indian IT companies mostly because they are into the services, they are risk averse, and most of the people, most of the IT companies, except for Tata's, all of them are first generation entrepreneurs. So they started
yes.
something and then they become entrepreneurs. I think that is where kind of a guiding factors like how to take it forward, how to do the innovation and those kind of a thing. I think that is where they miss the trick. Sometimes even I know one public listed company very well known for its people's friendly policies, just because one acquisition has failed and the board blamed the very senior chairman and the managing director, and he is very well known in the industry, and he took it and then he went into another company. So sometimes just not the numbers, so we need to have that vision of okay, what is that is going to come up. So you mentioned about Amazon. When AWS has come, there are so many clouds, right? So it's not just earning the profits, but they kill the other competitors as well and grab the market share. And these kind of things also we need to look at it. And having even there are good Indian product companies that are there. Zoho is one example,
Yes.
Freshworks is one example, Tally is one example. There are even Ramco ERP is a good. I think that is the problem is the kind of a vision. For example, Reliance, when they have set up the refinery, they aim to be a world's largest refinery. I think now it is world's first or second. So such kind of a vision or looking at beyond India, I think that is where the problem of that capturing and that kind of a financial muscle support is also not there. And that is making us not becoming the world-class product-based organizations, Sree.
Thank you so much. So let's take a quick look at startup scenario in India. Today, because of Opsindur, post Opsindur, there's a lot of interest in becoming, something that you can add value to the defense establishment, particularly guided missiles, drone. They are called UAV or something like that. Unmanned aerial vehicles, right? Unmanned aerial vehicles. That's a general group of which drones is one specific thing. Now, in this, still a lot of innovation is possible, and India can also do a lot of indigenization of something that somebody else may have done better. Talk to us a little bit about the startup scene today in India. Where do you think people are really starting new companies?
Yeah. So I think in one of the meeting or one of the conference, our 𝗑𝗏 𝗏𝗏, he has issued a blunt statement telling you guys need to focus on products kind of a thing than making a well-educated or graduates as a delivery boys. So he was blunt, and industry didn't take it in the right perspective.
The right
There
spirit.
was
Yeah, yeah.
right spirit as well. So that is where I think here the startups, when we look at it, there is a one thing is primarily we need to look at it how the ecosystem has been created, and defense is a one area which you have mentioned, and the next areas are basically like even the space also. There are a lot of things that have opened up. And even if I honestly look at it, like okay, in last 10 years, what are the big 10 innovations that have been done in the financial technology, especially UPI? It has set apart and from a
Yes.
world class, that we can say. And even other, especially considering we have got 1.3 billion Indians that who are there, biometrics have been captured. That is another biggest innovation, and which in turn saved 2.5 lakh crores per year. So that is another thing. Even ecosystem has been created. So there is a good, we can have a separate topic about startup, how it has been changed. But we need to see beyond. Again, right now it is focused primarily in 3-4 cities only, Bangalore topping it. And next, I think it's a NCR region and those kind of things where we need to see an expansion that need to happen. And other innovations that which we are talking about in Chandrayaan, it's a lunar mission that is there. Zoho, Freshworks, I already mentioned. Actually, dengue test. Earlier, it used to take about 3 days or 4 days. Now, within the 15 minutes, we can do the dengue, what is the stage of it. And there is a portable ECG that is coming up. And a lot of innovations that are happening in IITs as well. And that is where we need to see how we can put the money there and make it happen. So yes, we got good Swiggies and Olas and some of the apps that have come up, but how much of that scalable, and how can we keep the world coming to India rather than our best brains going to the outside India? So this is something which we need to definitely do. Startup environment, everyone is doing, and we see especially for the IT companies, everyone is doing a workshop or seminars kind of a thing on the GCC's global capability centers that is being mentioned everywhere. These things are happening. But next, we need to look at it apart from the ecosystem. Again, the people also need to look at it. What is that they can do? And if someone asks, okay, is this what is all about? Are we doomed? Okay, but history, we need to look back at the history, not just for 20 years or 30 years back. So after .com burst, what has happened? So again, Indian companies, they have bounced back like a phoenix, right? So, and they, especially by adapting, doing the innovation, leveraging the India's talent pool, and all these companies have really made a big, and year on year 20% growth, and those kind of a thing they have shown. After 9/11 attacks, again there was a lot of restrictions, global slowdown that has happened, but Indian exports have grown. Export has grown by 30%. 2008 economic crisis, all BFSI clients have cut their budgets, and that impacted 40, because Indian IT companies are extremely dependent at that point of time on BFSI, and 40% of IT revenue.
Can you expand that for us? What can you expand as for that acronym you used? BFSI?
Banking and financial services and insurance.
Okay.
So BFSI. Okay. So because of that 2008 economic crisis that has happened, but then we have diversified, got into healthcare, retail, manufacturing, and then because at that time, if we look at it, Infosys, they have got that the product that is there, and they're heavily dependent, even for Tata's as well, on the banking side of our financial services. They diversified. And that is how, even in 2015, actually, that was the time when slowly automation fears have come up and weak demand has come. And all you must have seen like TCS Digital and some of the Accenture Digital and all those things are getting into that digital. And from there, they have increased their headcount and they tweak the strategy, because if someone gets into the digital practice, their salaries used to be high, and those who got into normal the kind of a maintenance or support works used to be normal. But that is how it has happened. And even COVID time 2020, everyone felt okay, world is going to end, because everyone used to come to office and we may not be able to deliver much and those kind of things. But in that crisis, IT is the one of the saving grace from the economic collapse, especially in India, and we have worked extremely well. And people took advantage of doing the moonlighting as well. So where already companies have caught hold of those guys, and they took corrective measures. And these are the things which we need to look at it, especially for IT employees. Resilience will always be there. We need to identify an opportunity in every crisis. And that is what some of our political leadership also is showing. And also we need to look at become a global leadership as well. And we need to upskill ourselves and look at the areas where we need to really give our strengths, right? So sometimes you need not be very extremely technical guy. You might be very good at handling the clients or escalation management and those kind of things. And there are good amount of opportunities that are there even for government and established business houses as well. They can also really see how they can put it. For example, Reliance, they have put a 4G network across and now expanding into a 5G network. And why can't they get into their own kind of a cloud? Or even, for example, Adani's, and everyone, they have got an opportunity. It's only the matter of the time where we get into a stage of telling that, okay, we are the IT guys, we'll become the experts in this particular thing. We will not get into a kind of a margins of about $10 per hour and those kind of a thing. We'll better increase the revenue, offer it, we'll move from a high level of the pyramid and then give our best services. And then other guys also, even parents and the students also should have an expectation that, okay, sending kids to United States or other places by hook or crook so that they can show it as a status symbol, those era is gone. And we need to look at it because the bulk of the opportunities and the new world that is going to emerge, where India is going to play a major role, is here. So we need to have that vision wherein kids also think and believe that we are going to build our careers and lives staying in India in spite of a lot of other challenges which we have.
Thank you so much, Prasad Garu. Viewers, Prasad ji and I will be periodically coming back to you with stories where India can really identify some new concepts and technologies. See, one thing that you didn't say, but it's coming just around the corner, is Starlink. So now what happens is, see, connectivity today is good in urban areas, semi-urban areas. But once you go to totally rural, things get a little bit dicey. Power is not guaranteed and things like that. So with Starlink, a lot of other things change. However, with Starlink, you'll have connectivity, but you still have to have power to run your laptop. It will only run on battery for so long. So a lot of these innovations are possible. Solar energy conversion. I'll give you a simple thing that India needs to look at. I mean, an IIT professor, Professor Ashok Jhunjhunwala, he gave a lecture 2-3 years ago in US. See, the simple concept, everybody now has bought into LED bulbs. All of us know LED bulbs is better, it will last longer, it consumes less power, and for the same light. Excellent. Do you know that LED bulbs will work only on direct current? I mean, if you're an electrical engineer, you understand what direct current is and alternating current is. The power that comes to our house is alternating current. So what happens? The alternating current has to be converted into direct current, and then it has to drive the LED. So every bulb has that converter. So loss is about 15%. So while you may be getting, a better light, you have to look at how much you're losing because of the conversion inefficiency. Now take the next step. Let's say you have solar panel. Solar panel has an inverter. What does it do? It generates DC and it converts it into AC and feeds it into your network because the entire world is running on AC. So now you have another 15% loss there.
Correct.
So what I'm trying to say is, so what's the fix? Some people may ask. The fix is to build a house which can directly take DC input. And that might not work. See, it has to be something parallel to what you already have. And it cannot have the same plugs. The plugs have to change too. But it's a one-time change. Somebody can do the research. Some standards can be evolved and say, you build new homes, you build with these outlets. And those outlets will give you, LED. I mean, this is very common, Prasad Garu, in US. You get 110 and 220 volt appliance voltages. And now, if you have a solar panel, you get 440 also, 3 times in the same house.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that it is not just IT, digital. There are actual homes that can actually be done this way to try and take it to the next level. There are lots of opportunities like this. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. And it's just how much people are willing to, think a little bit 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪. Don't think the same thing, meetings after meetings and emails and status reports and stuff like that. What can I do? What do I know? What can I do better? So wonderful, wonderful conversation with you, Prasad Garu. We'll come back and we'll take up things like this in the near future. Viewers, hope you like Prasad Garu. We need to give him a lot of encouragement because we want him back as a regular guest, and I'm hoping and praying that you all will like this conversation, and we will continue to engage and have Sri Prasad Garu grace our channel. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskaram.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Thank you.